And Okiro, it is said that, decisions relating to financial services largely are made by men. And men also happen to hold most of these senior positions in these institutions, especially financial institutions. Could this level of involvement, create room for an unconscious gender bias from where you sit?
Okay, thank you. I will start by saying that first of all, aside from my first saying that children become what they see, the second thing is only the wearer of the shoe knows how it pinches. Mm-hmm. I would not sit here and expect Dr. Githaiga to understand things that I, as a biological woman, have suffered and things that I have seen, as much as he supports women in all his initiatives. There are things that are particularly and peculiar to only a person who's of that, I'd say, gender. So that as a woman, you're able to see things from a different perspective also. And also in terms of style of leadership, you'll find that women bring leadership that also emphasizes on empathy, emphasizes on soft skills. And also when you look at studies such that have really been made public, and also they have made a case for involvement of women in board leadership and top leadership, is that companies that have women equality, and that is diversity and inclusion. Because diversity, inclusion, those are very many, there are two things. Because we always say, in fact, now we are going to diversity, inclusion, and even participation, because diversity is being invited to the dance, to the event even. Mm-hmm. Inclusion is come and dance. Participation is you even get a choice in choosing which song
you want to dance.
So that those three people are in the dance, but then what role are you playing? So that companies that have demonstrated that they have women in boards, you have seen even from the McKinsey studies year and year later, years over the years, as well as the UN, these companies have shown increased revenue. They have also shown lower turnover. They have also showed up better in terms of sustainability and issues like environmental social governance, so that a case for inclusivity does not need to be made as though there is no data. And only, I'm not saying men cannot support, but only a wearer of a shoe can understand. I represent women and youth from where I sit. There are things that I'll see from those two lenses that other people may not see if they do not belong to that, I'd say, group. That is why we say diversity and inclusion is intersectional, because a man can support women, but a woman can also support persons with disabilities, and a person with disabilities can also support another form of intersectionality. So that when it comes to diversity and inclusion, truly, women must be involved at the decision table, because everything, as you've had, when you talk about financial inclusion, these decisions can only be made if there is a proper representation. As to the second, I'll even use the second P, as to the issue of pregnancies, there's nothing wrong with pregnancies. What we don't remember is, even in the negotiations for the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, as to the role of gender and women in trade, unpaid reproductive work, you find it is women who actually deal with, who raise children in Africa, and I'm referring to Africa, in the formative years. They're the ones going to look for wood. In the papers today, you can see 40 billion is the number of hours spent by women going to look for water and firewood. So that is a lot of unpaid reproductive work that women do. That is also another aspect. Only a person who understands, also who has been there, is sometimes able to push for those things. The last thing is even the issue of power, the last P. Why do we need women there? Because it is women who will push for policies, for instance, to curb child pregnancy. You have seen that now Nairobi County is launching the first safe house, and I thank our Honorable Lester Passaris. Women representatives and their role is such, that is why we have, because some things you can only see them from a perspective of the wearer of the shoe. I'm not saying men are not allies. That's why in every cause we have allyship. They can be allies, but however, we have to take charge of this problem and carry these issues and personalize them. Thank you.